Let's go!
Hey guys, I've been getting a ton of questions about my food adventures, so I figured I'd make a video explaining a few things. First, a little background information to explain why I do things the way that I do. Back in 2012, I was competing in my second powerlifting meet ever out in California. I had been to California once before for wrestling, but I didn't really experience the food. I didn't really even see the sights. I was only there for around 12 hours in and out like that. So I was looking forward to this trip, and for some reason, about a week out, I decided to, instead of competing at 220, which I had been competing at, I decided to try and cut down from 210 to 198. In about 8 days. I had 8 days to do it, and it didn't go very well. Long story short, I spent the first day in California, first 2 days basically suffering, dehydrating, starving myself, passing Krispy Kremes and In-N-Outs and all these places that I could have eaten at, and just making myself miserable. It was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. I almost passed out when we were at a theme park. I rode a roller coaster and almost passed out getting off. So it was an epic shit show. It was even worse because I didn't even make weight. I got on the scale at 199 and tapped out and just started eating my face off. And then the next day, I almost puked pulling my third deadlift. So it was a great experience. So right then and there, I decided to never, ever diet while on vacation or while traveling. And not only that, fuck a macro, calories do not exist when I travel. I go hard because, guys, you just never know. That trip you're taking, you know, the one you're counting your macros on, it could be your last trip ever. And that's exactly how I roll when I travel. I eat like I'm never going to get to eat again. I abuse myself. I eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I drink every day if I feel like it, and I don't exercise. I walk, but I don't work out. I don't give a shit. Guys, vacations are supposed to be vacations. Relaxing. Fun. Okay? Don't stress yourself out about working out, hitting your macros, any of that bullshit. Live life to the fullest, and when you get back, it'll all be alright, trust me. But we're gonna get to that. Yes, every single thing I post on my Instagram, I eat. Now, when it comes to donuts or cookies or anything where I post, 12 or 10 at once, those I share with Kelsey. My wife and I, we split. That helps, mitigate some damage there. Keeps us from making ourselves sick. And it's fun to taste something, have her taste something, then I taste something, and we kind of share our thoughts on that, and we experience it together. And also, like, we don't ruin our appetite for the rest of the day. But if it's a burger or some ice cream, I'm crushing the whole thing. So yeah, there's a lot of food accounts out there that just post food porn, and that's cool and everything, but I like eating. And I don't think there's any point posting a picture of some food if I can't tell you how I felt about it or how good it was. On top of that, each food experience is a memory to my wife and I, something we've shared together, and we can, we lay in bed sometimes, we go, oh, you remember that donut we had in Chicago? That shit was awesome. I remember we had that burger in California, that was amazing. So we're big foodies, and it should really be no surprise that we share as much food as we do. No, Kelsey and I do not train while on vacation. We used to before Cameron came around, but now it's just we take shorter trips, 2 or 3 days, and we don't have the time to do it. And plus, anytime we'd be working out, that would just take away from time we could spend eating. We do walk as much as possible. We try to pick locations that are within walking distance whenever we can, because we definitely feel better when we're able to walk, half mile to dinner and back. Beyond the YOLO aspect of things, I find that when we eat like this, when we travel, it serves as a great reminder of why we live the regular healthy lifestyle that we do. There is no physiological benefit to eating like this. There isn't. But there's a huge mental component, because when you train as hard as we do, especially with my endurance stuff lately, burnout is inevitable. And, and hitting the same, you're doing the same diet every day, really training hard, it can be stressful. And, eventually you can plateau mentally. Maybe not physically. Maybe you're still getting leaner. Maybe you're getting stronger, whatever. It can take its toll. And it's nice to just go and just eat whatever the fuck you want and live your life. And then we always have the same conversation on the way home. We're like, I cannot believe people eat like this every day of their lives. You know, we're so ready and motivated to get back on our plan, and it's a nice change of pace. Not something we want to do every weekend, not something you want to do every month, but every 3 or 4 months, it's a really good change of pace. I gain a lot of weight. Let it be known, I bloat like a pregnant woman. I'm very carb sensitive. My diet on a day-to-day basis, a regular day-to-day basis, is fairly low carb. So if I increase even by 100 grams, let alone freaking 400 or 500 grams, I'm gonna gain some water weight. I've done this enough times that I know what to expect, guys. This is not my first rodeo. I've done this plenty of times, lots of trial and error, so I don't freak out about the scale. I do have to say, this last trip to Miami was a benchmark performance for me. 16 pounds gained in 3.5 days, basically. I even impressed myself. On the left there, we got me at 179 pounds, and on the right, 194.6 after 3.5 days. Trust me, I feel way worse than I look. Remember though, the scale is just some objective feedback, all right? It's just a number. You can't be emotional about it. And you know, when you eat like I do, you gotta expect some consequences. Just the way it goes, guys. You're gonna gain weight, but it'll come off. Now, the real question is, how much damage did I really do? That remains to be seen, but you gotta understand that 16 pounds, a very small percentage of it is actually body fat. Once again, I have a lot of experience with this. I've done this many times, so much of that weight is going to be, from an increased sodium intake, from an increased carbohydrate intake, stored glycogen, subcutaneous water, all that stuff, and of course food volume. So it remains to be seen. I think we'll find out once I start sweating, and once I start pooping more. We'll see how much weight I've actually gained. If I had to guess, anywhere between 2 to 4 pounds of actual body fat, and I don't regret one single ounce of it. It was worth it. When I get back from a trip, I don't change one thing. I go right back to the way things were before. I don't eat less, I don't do more cardio, I just get back on the wagon. That's how it goes, because you don't want to over restrict. In my experience, that leads to some bad things. I already do a lot of cardio, so I'm going to do a lot of cardio. I already eat a fairly strict diet outside of my fun size reviews and my ice cream, so nothing has to change there. And no, I'm not going to skip ice cream. No, I'm not going to eat half a pint. No, I'm not going to eat frozen yogurt. There's no point to that for me. I have a lifestyle, and just because I've gained some weight doesn't mean that's going to change. I'm going to get right back on that wagon, and I'm going to do what I was doing before. I think that about wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, as always, hit me in the comments, ask me whatever you like, and I'll do my best to answer you. Let's go!